Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome back to the channel. I make videos about my adventures as a 50-something silver and solo traveler. In today's video, I'm talking about 6 opportunities to save time, money, important stuff, and also your sanity when traveling solo. Try traveling off-label. Traveling off-season or in the shoulder season is a no-brainer for cost savings. But have you ever thought of what I like to call traveling off-label? Off-label is a term used in medicine for a drug that's being used in a way not described on its package. Think of celebrities and even normal people using Ozempic for weight loss instead of what it's been approved for, which is managing diabetes. Traveling off-label means learning how to surf in Canada, in Tofino, instead of the big ticket places like Hawaii or Australia. Do a winery tour in an emerging wine region like Poland, instead of Napa or France. Visit castles in Bulgaria instead of England. You get the idea. All of these off-label destinations are just as interesting, but less expensive and less crowded than their more on-label competitors. Have a plan. Being a spontaneous, no-plan, seat-of-your-pants type traveler involves freedom, trust, and a willingness to involve risk. Being spontaneous sounds sexy, but for a lot of people, not having a plan means a bunch of anxiety and sleepless nights. Having a plan is a good thing for focus, for control, and sticking to a schedule, which puts many a nervous mind to rest and also helps when you've only got 2 weeks vacation and a non-negotiable budget. But don't let having a plan evolve into over-planning. That can be as stressful as not planning at all. And this is something that I can speak to on a personal level. I recently had to cancel an excursion I was looking forward to on my recent cruise. You see, we had 10 ports of call, and I had scheduled my days so full of excursions and activities that I found myself both mentally and physically exhausted by the 6th day. I got to the point that I just needed a rest day in order to continue with the rest of my adventures. So if you're planning, make sure you plan for down days and leave the flexibility to take advantage of unexpected opportunities that might pop up. And finally, at the far end of overplanning is analysis paralysis. You never take action or travel because you've overthought every possible angle and are hopelessly mired in inaction because your plan isn't perfect and you keep changing some aspect of it to make it better, which ends up throwing something else out of alignment, etc., and forever. Finding that sweet spot somewhere between being 100% spontaneous and 100% perfectly planned is the goal. Having some measure of flexibility and of control makes your mind and your pocketbook very happy. Hey, if you like this video, if it's helping you out, consider subscribing, leaving a comment, giving me a thumbs up. Thanks. There's also a little treat at the very end of the video, so stay watching. Try a repositioning cruise. A repositioning cruise is a cruise that happens at the end of a season for a cruise ship line, where they actually reposition one of their ships from one region of the world to another to begin sort of the summer season or the winter season. So when the Alaskan cruising season is over, because, well, ice, those ships don't just sit vacant waiting for spring. They reposition across the ocean to Asia, Australia, or Europe. Obviously, there are a lot of sea days and fewer ports on repositioning cruises, but the onboard activities are usually amped up to compensate, and there are deals galore on the cruise price, cabin upgrades, and drink packages. Try a package tour instead of doing it yourself. Planning your own itinerary lets you personalize your trip and see and have the exact experiences you want, but it involves a lot of time, energy, as well as a healthy dose of courage, and is sometimes just not as cost-effective as booking a package tour. Package tours come with a guide who speaks the language and knows the local customs, shops, restaurants, attractions, and the route. And if you're going solo, the safety and buffering of a group of co-adventurers who are all on the same path. A prepackaged group tour also takes care of all of the headaches of booking accommodations, excursions, where to eat, how to get from one destination to the next, and when all is said and done, finish up costing less, sometimes quite a bit less, than a self-designed tour. If you're comfortable with planning but not over-planning your own trip, then consider saving on accommodations. A lot of older travelers will shy away from hostels, thinking they're only for the younger backpacking crowd and they're loud and communal and unsafe. But those people would be wrong. Hostels these days are well-run businesses who cater to, yes, the YOLO crowd, traveling on a shoestring with a bedroll and a huge backpack. But they also have single rooms and they're centrally located in most big cities and they're cheap. Another option, and one that I use often, are commercial B&Bs or guest houses. Single rooms, en suite, with a cafeteria-style breakfast included. If you don't need anything fancy or big, look for a guest house in your next destination. One more option in the accommodations space that I am dying to try are monasteries and convents. There's actually a website to book these, and speaking of great locations, if you want to visit a cathedral or abbey, there's usually a monastery or convent in the area, and if they have the room, they're likely renting it. Quiet, clean, with private bathrooms, and usually including breakfast, they welcome all and offer a really unique story for your return. Volunteering and teaching abroad. Volunteer abroad. A couple websites that I'll offer up to you are GoEcho and GoAbroad.com. GoEcho lets you volunteer at wildlife rescues around the world. GoAbroad.com is a great place to start looking for volunteer activities that suit your experience and availability. I didn't exactly volunteer, but I did teach English as a foreign language, EFL, in Japan for a couple years as a younger person, and if you are a native English speaker with a university degree and willing to spend a little time and money to get EFL certification, there are programs out there that will take you for weeks, months, or longer and help you with accommodation and travel. You don't have to be a young person, and in fact, many organizations prefer a more mature applicant as many of their students are older. My time in Japan was wonderful, and I spent every weekend on the Shinkansen heading to another festival, a shrine, a museum, every weekend. I also used it as a home base to explore Korea, Hong Kong, China, Macau, and Thailand. If you have the time and inclination, volunteering or teaching abroad can be a great cost-effective way of seeing the world and doing some good while you're at it. If you made it this far, I'm going to leave you with a word for the day. It's called Fernweh. It's a German word. It means far sickness, and it's the opposite of homesickness. It's an urge or a yearning to travel far away. See you soon.